On everyone, the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant marriage with the Brooklyn Nets may be coming to an end. It was reported that Kevin Durant is going to sit down with Joe Tsai, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, to talk about the future of Kevin Durant with Brooklyn. Is he going to stay in Brooklyn? Is he going to continue to demand a trade? And if so, where is he going to go? What do you want to do with Kyrie Irving? Do you want us to trade him? Do you not? Whether he leaves or he stays. Either way, I still think Kyrie Irving is getting traded. And I do think that if Kevin Durant leaves and does say, hey, I'm not rescinding my trade request, I want you to trade me, then I think he ends up going to Boston. And I think Kyrie Irving ends up getting traded immediately. Because if Kevin Durant leaves, they're not keeping Kyrie Irving. They don't want Kyrie Irving even with Kevin Durant. I don't think they're going to keep Kyrie Irving if Kevin Durant's gone. Still think Kyrie Irving gets traded either way. And there are the reports that Kevin Durant doesn't want to play with Kyrie anymore. Although I don't think he's going to be the bad guy. I don't think he's the guy that wants to ruin their friendship because they still are friends. And it's one of those things, it's like, if that was true, why wouldn't Kevin Durant just like either him or send, one of your agents or something like that to go talk to Sean Marks and just say, hey, tell you what, trade Kyrie Irving and watch what might happen. But again, maybe Kevin Durant doesn't want to be the bad guy. Also, I imagine that in that conversation with Joe Tsai, that'll be a point of discussion. What if you end up staying? What do you want us to do with Kyrie Irving? Do you want us to keep him or trade him? And maybe Kevin Durant gives like a hint, wink, wink. So that way he can kind of show face and be like, look, I didn't tell them to trade you. Like, what do you want me to do? They wanted to trade you. They don't have a trade for me. I can't go anywhere, so I'm stuck here, and he can kind of still play the nice guy with Kyrie Irving. That I could see happening. I don't really know if you could salvage this relationship regardless with the way that it's kind of ended. But nonetheless, I think this is the end of the marriage with the Brooklyn Nets. And I do think that Boston Celtics are going to very likely get Kevin Durant. And I do think Lakers end up getting Kyrie Irving, which that in and of itself is an incredible storyline. And I hope with everything in me that they end up meeting each other in the finals because that story would just be amazing. The tiebreaker for number 18, the two best friends going head to head. You got the Boston and Lakers rivalry again. You got LeBron facing Kevin Durant. You got LeBron facing the Boston Celtics and all their history. I mean, you can't write a better story. And it sounds like something that would happen in the NBA. It would be fantastic. But I wouldn't be shocked at all. And again, this is just my thoughts. If the Boston Celtics trade is already kind of worked out, that the Brooklyn Nets, they know what the deal is. They've probably already done their due diligence. And I wouldn't be shocked if Kevin Durant, in that conversation, the Nets just go, it's either here or Boston. And Kevin Durant says, trade me to Boston. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, tomorrow, and I'm not saying it will be tomorrow, I'm just saying, like, let's say tomorrow Kevin Durant meets with Joe Tsai. I wouldn't be surprised if, come Friday or the end of this week, Kevin Durant is traded. Maybe even depending on when that meeting is, immediately Kevin Durant is traded. Because they might already have that deal worked out, and they already probably have the Kyrie Irving deal worked out. So I think both of these guys could be on the move potentially by the end of the week, depending on when the conversation is. If they end up meeting on Friday, then the deals might not happen until like Monday or Tuesday. But one way or another, I do think at least the Kyrie Irving trade gets done within the next week because Kevin Durant is the domino that needs to fall, right? And Kyrie Irving is the most likely piece to be moved either way. And the Brooklyn Nets, they need to get something for Kyrie Irving because if this doesn't work out and Kyrie walks and you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're screwed. You have no salary cap for the next 4 years. You're hoping that you get something that makes you competitive for Kevin Durant. If it doesn't, you have no tradable assets. You have no money. You have nothing. You are in about as worse of a position as possible. But if Kevin Durant does agree to go to the Boston Celtics, and that kind of changes everything. Because now you're getting, let's say, Marcus Smart, you're getting Derek White, you're getting Jaylen Brown, you're getting some draft picks. You could do the Kyrie trade. Maybe if the Indiana Pacers deal is on the table, you can say, hey, we'll trade you Kyrie, but we need you to go get us Miles Turner. And now Brooklyn went from Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to Marcus Smart, maybe Seth Curry, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. That is a really good starting five. That is a starting five that can be competitive in the Eastern Conference. Are they a contender? Probably not. I don't think so, but they do have a lot of depth. They still have, Patty Mills, TJ Warren, Nick Claxton. I mean, they're a really deep team, and they're a really good team, and they're probably going to be one of the better defensive teams also if they were able to pull off a deal like that. And the Lakers get what they want. They get Kyrie Irving. The Boston Celtics, they upgrade Jaylen Brown and to Kevin Durant. It's a win-win for everybody. The whole world is happy. Everybody is rainbows and butterflies at that point, right? And so I do think Kyrie Irving is more of a matter of when, not if. Because even if Kevin Durant does decide, like, hey, I'm going to stay, unless he is, like, very adamant about, like, you keeping Kyrie Irving, I think that they'll still trade him. Like, if Kevin Durant says, I'll stay, but you have to keep Kyrie, then, yeah, Kyrie's going to end up staying with the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets will roll the dice, right? But if Kevin Durant is kind of indecisive and is kind of like, hey, whatever you want to do with Kyrie, you do with Kyrie, I think Kyrie is on the first thing smoking to LA. I really do. I think unless Kevin Durant definitively says, I need you to keep Kyrie Irving, they will trade Kyrie Irving. If it is kind of up in the air, or even if Kevin Durant's like, I don't want to go to Boston, but I'll write it out until you can find me a better trade or a different trade, I think they trade Kyrie Irving. I just think however you slice it, unless Kevin Durant says, you have to keep Kyrie, Kyrie is being traded to the Lakers. And we're going to start hearing all kinds of reports. I mean, be ready. I mean, while you're watching this video, reports could be coming up. I mean, I could be loading up on a bunch of videos coming up just because we're going to start hearing all the reports about the conversation, what happened. You're going to start hearing reports about Kyrie Irving. If this talk didn't go well, I expect a lot of these trades to start ramping up, and Kyrie Irving going to Lakers discussion starting to ramp up again, and that kind of being a point of discussion all over again. I could see, Donovan Mitchell trades. I could see a lot of things fall because Kevin Durant is that last domino, right? Kevin Durant is the thing that has the entire NBA on, frozen mode right now because everyone is trying to wait. I think we'll see a couple small trades that we didn't even expect because teams probably already got it worked out, but they're just waiting to see what's going to happen with Kevin Durant. Where is he going to go? Is this trade even worth it anymore? This, that, and the other. Because you might be thinking like, well, if it's a small trade, why don't they just make it? Because maybe the impact of Kevin Durant, depending on where he goes, maybe that small trade isn't even worth it and they're willing to wait out for something bigger. Like say Miami has a small deal lined up, but Kevin Durant ends up getting traded to Boston. Maybe if you're Miami, you're trying to look for a bigger deal now. And you're not trying to get like a smaller piece because you're like, Boston just eliminated us in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. They just upgraded to Kevin Durant. We need to make a bigger splash here. We need to do something else. Instead of getting this marginal guy, let's go try to find a mid-tier guy or something like that. I just think that Kevin Durant being traded is going to have a huge impact in this NBA. I think there's a lot of decent free agents still available, a lot of really good free agents that I think a lot of teams would be willing to sign. But again, they're waiting to see what happens. Like, is it worth going and signing, Hassan Whiteside if we end up, if Kevin Durant goes to this team or whatever, or should we be looking for something else, or should we leave an open roster spot open just in case somebody becomes available? I just think the Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie Irving, smaller trades, free agency, all that stuff, everything is just kind of waiting on what is that conversation going to be like with Joe Tsai and Kevin Durant. I think that this is going to be a huge impact, and this is going to be something that really could shape the league going forward. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, Kyrie Irving is going to go to the Lakers? This conversation, however it goes, is going to happen? Or do you think, no, Kevin Durant, if he stays in Brooklyn, he's going to want Kyrie, so therefore they're not going to trade Kyrie, which is a possibility, which is definitely a huge possibility. Also, I'm sure the point of conversation will bring up Russell Westbrook, right? Like, okay, you want us to trade Kyrie, would you be okay with playing with Russell Westbrook? And I think that is going to be a conversation that we might hear. We might even hear rumors and speculations about that. That'll be interesting. I know there's a lot of talk about Ben Simmons and Westbrook and, how would that fit? One, you don't know if Ben Simmons is even going to play. And two, Kevin Durant says, I want Russell Westbrook because I can at least depend on him. Then they're going to trade for Russell Westbrook regardless of Ben Simmons. They'll try to work out the fit one way or another, whatever they got to do. But I think we're going to learn a lot in the coming days based on how this meeting goes. Hopefully the meeting is sooner rather than later, but it's supposed to happen this week. But again, however you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.